Hello everyone, welcome to a class of business statistics. In the previous class, we discussed about classification and tabulation of data, where we learned how to classify the data and then how to prepare tables out of that data. In today's class, we will be discussing about presentation of data, where we will learn how to present the data clearly so that meaningful information become easier to understand from it. So your data will become more meaningful at first glance, right? So let us start. So what are the key learnings from today's lecture? We will be learning about how to create a diagrams, charts, and how we can differentiate between the different charts and different diagrams. And we will learn about the graphs. We will learn about how to create frequency polygons or GIFs for the group data. We will also be learning about how to choose the right method to present our data. What should be the right graph or what should be the right diagram for my data. And we should also be learning about we will also be learning about uh, what are the key problems with the data, what are the key things which should be taken care of while dealing with the graphs and diagrams. So why present data visually? It makes my data more simpler, more easier to understand, faster to read. It will also reveal the shape, and it will be more memorable. I mean, it will help you to memorize the data for longer. So, what counts as a good presentation? A good presentation is easier to compare. You can easily draw a comparison uh, between a given unit or displayed unit, and it will help you to draw information because key estimates are at glance, and it will also help you for an accuracy check. You can easily cross check the data, right? So before moving ahead, let me remind you about we have the concept we discussed about qualitative and quantitative data. Qualitative data is categorical data, whereas quantitative data is a numerical data, which is a number. So the first step is you should know what type of your data is, whether it is qualitative or quantitative, and accordingly you will choose the diagram or bar chart or histogram, whatever. Three ways to present the data is textual form, where you are actually preparing a written language. You are explaining the findings using the written language, and this is best for introducing the context and highlighting the key points in your data. Then tabular data, which is like presentation of data in systematic rows and column, and this is ideal for comparing groups or tracking on the patterns over a time. And then we have the geographical data, which is sorry graphical presentation, which means visual diagrams and charts. Most powerful uh, way to present the data is obviously the graphs, because that makes the data more uh, understandable at first glance. What is textual presentation? One, words do the work, and where it is used usually when you introduce the topic, um, and you are summarizing something. So textual presentation is one of the oldest method, and usually you describe the thing, describe the data, and then you are finally uh, summarize something in the language, and this is what it is meant for. So all good reports are usually begin with the text and they ends with text. Tabular presentation is actually a comparison engine. A table is actually a systematic arrangement of related statistical data, as we discussed earlier also. So if my data is presented in tabular form, then it has become readable, easy for comparison, and easy to carry analysis, because all these things are actually difficult when we are doing it with raw data. But tabular data is actually helping me, as it has created a frequency table, patterns, and then it also support the quick interpretation. Okay, then Coming to the first type of presentation, which is histogram. Histogram is looking at the shape of the data, where we have created a graph putting the frequencies on the y-axis and the categories on the x-axis. And this is actually visible on your screen, where we have created a data where bar graph is important. If I'm handling a discrete data, or I'm handling a categorical data, then bar charts are useful. For example, if you ask me how I'm mode of traveling, which I'm choosing to travel uh, to my workplace. So options are like, if whether I'm traveling by the public transport, or using a bike or a car or a cycle, then obviously, if you're finding out the data about it, then you want to find out the choices of the people who are using bicycle for traveling to back to their home, and the people who are using cars or bikes, then obviously this bar graph will work. Then you can write down name of all the vehicle through which the people are traveling back to their home, and then you can mention the frequency, number of people who are using that mode of transport. And in this case, it is actually the data given about figures of country wise. Maybe it is export or import figures. So it is given like country wise: USA, India, UK, New Zealand, and Japan. So each country have the separate export or import level. So they need to be mentioned separately. And if I say if I try to interpret the information out of it, so I can say that for UK has the highest export figure with dollar 400, and this New Zealand is having the lowest, which is almost equal to USA, right? So this is example of the bar chart. And if we move to the histogram is when these gaps are actually connected with each other. So there is no gap, so we can create a class interval. So if I'm using a group data, then histogram is more meaningful than the bar graph. So for ungrouped data, this bar graph is good, and for group data, this histogram will be uh, more relevant. So what you have to do, you have to choose the interval, count frequencies, and then draw the adjacent bar. So example, uh, decision movement. So there are the two scenarios: variable heights and variable favorite fruit. You have to draw a relevant graph related to it. So height is a continuous quantitative data. Height is continuous variable, which is a part of quantitative data. So what you can do, because there is a continuity in the data, you can create a class interval, and histogram will suit your purpose. But if you have to choose the variable as a favorite fruit, so apple cannot be the part of banana. Apple is separate from banana, banana is separate from grapes, grapes are separate from guava. So there is no overlapping between the data, and therefore bar chart will be more suitable answer for your fruit choice diagram, right? So you have to choose according to the need. So what is the difference between graphs and diagram, and how to choose between the two? It depends on what type of data do I have. Quantitative or continuous data, use histogram, frequency polygon, ogive, stem leaf. Where distribution shape is important, you can use this histogram, right? Qualitative data, for qualitative data, you are using the bar charts and pie charts, right? So which type of graph is relevant for quantitative continuous data? Histogram. Which type of chart is relevant for qualitative data? Bar chart and pie chart. So what is the difference between bar and pie chart? Bar diagram is useful. Bar diagram is useful when you have to quantify across the categories. So it is best for discrete series where data is counted, and or you are handling the categorical data obviously. So it is easy to read, extract values, and rank categories side by side. So you can easily find out from the graph which is there on your screen which category is the highest. Obviously, this category with the brown color uh, is highest in frequency, and this category in the blue color is lowest in frequency. Then coming to the pie chart where you are mentioning all the share of all the values as a pie in a circle. It shows a part of a whole or a proportion slices. It is best when you have to communicate the percentage composition rather than extract counts. So when you have to communicate the percentage composition uh, of each mentioned category or unit, then you can use the pie chart rather than bar chart. Coming to the next part, which is frequency polygon, there we will also be covering ogives and stem leaf. Frequency polygon is what? When you are creating, when you are point plotting points for each class frequency wise, like we are doing it. Class marks 5 to 15 3, 15 to 25 7, then 12. So what you are doing, you are actually plotting a dot for each class, and then you are connecting all the dots using one line, and that line is your frequency polygon. Okay, so if you are mentioning like people traveling, say salaries from 0 to 10,000 to 20,000 to 30,000, and then the frequency. So there are 100 people, there are 200 people, 300 people, so on and so forth. So what you can do, you can simply connect these dots and create a frequency polygon. Then coming to ogive, ogive is similar to frequency polygon. The only difference is here you are taking the cumulative frequency. So the graph will be like increasing. So it is less than 38, less than 36, less than 40, less than 50, less than 60. So actually all the previous frequencies are added up. So it is actually based on the cumulative frequency. So it is actually either rising or falling, right? It has to be in this way. So ogive is a cumulative frequency graph plotted against the upper class boundaries, right? Then coming to the third type, which is stem and leaf display. Here what I'm doing, so I'm actually mentioning number ones only, like frequency 1, stem is 1. So any number which is like in the range of 1, say what are the possibilities with 1? So I say 15, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So if I have the number which is preceded by 1 will be mentioned against it. Like this is 1, so number which is with 1, 17, 19, 18, 17. These are the number with prefix 1 with it. So 17 is like 1 is followed by 7, 1 is followed by 7, for 18, 1 is followed by 8, and for 19, 1 is followed by 9. So these are the leaves. Stem is actually the tens, and then other number is leaf is like ones. Similarly, if I take the value of 2, like so I will take all the values which are in 20s, which have 2 as a as a preceding number, right? So I can say that 2 0 is 20. So it is like 21, 22, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 29. So these are actually mentioning those numbers. So if I have to find out how many leaves are for 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All these are the leaves of 2. And then leaves of 3. So there is no number in 30s. There is one number in 30, that is 3. And which is the leaf? Is 30. Leaf for 30 is 0. So 3 is followed by 0. So leaf is 0. So in this way, we can create a stem and leaf diagram. So what stem and leaf display do? It split each data values into stem and leaf. It retains the original data value while simultaneously showing distribution of shape. It is ideal for small data sets only. So workflow how of the presentation, what you have to do, identify the data type, choose the presentation method, select the right graph, construct carefully, and verify the clarity. So if you want to dealing with the presentation, first of all, you need to identify what type of data you are having, and then on the basis of that data, you are going to choose the presentation method. For continuous data, you are going to use a different method. For categorical data, you are going to use a different method. For smaller data, you have to use the different method. For the large data set, you have to use the different data method. So you have to different method of presentation. So for you have to choose the method of presentation carefully on the basis of nature of data, and then you have to select the graph accordingly, and then you have to construct the class interval and all the other inputs of that graph carefully so that it will give you a true picture. And finally, you have to verify the clarity, whether it is giving the correct picture clearly and concisely. So the conclusion, right chart turns number into understanding. So you need to know your data, match the method, check the clarity. So what are the do's and don'ts? Choosing the right chart, compare categories, by diagram, bar diagram is good, show part as a whole, pie diagram, show shape of distribution, histogram, show change over time, line graph, read of cumulative counts, OGIB. And obviously then other things are also there which you need to keep in mind. So now it is up to you. You have to try it yourself and you have to find out which chart would you use in this case. Market share of 5 smartphone brand. Market share of 5 smartphone brand. Which chart is good? Monthly temperature over the last 2 years. Distribution of exam scores for 200 students. Reading of the median from the grouped income data. Think and then answer which chart is suitable for which type of problem. So you have to do it, try it yourself. So with this, we are winding up the week 1. And what we learned in this, we learned about statistics, definition of statistics, singular, plural, types of statistics, descriptive and inferential. Then we learned about data, type of data, measurement scales, and the classification, right? Then we learned about collection of data, where we learned about sources of data and methods of data collection. And then we move to the classification, followed by tabulation of data, and lastly, we come to the presentation. So that actually covers the definition of statistics. We started with the data itself, and then we ended with the presentation. So data collection, classification and tabulation, presentation, and finally, my basic part of the statistics is over in the first week. In the next week, we will be covering the aspect of descriptive statistics such as central tendency and measure of dispersion. In central tendency, we will be discussing in the central tendency, we will be discussing about mean median mode, and in the measure of dispersion, we will be discussing about uh, range, quartile deviation, and mean deviation, etc. So see you in the next class. Thank you. Okay, students, let us have a short discussion about doing the summarization and presentation through the graphs using Excel. So, this is our data set which is there on your screen, and what I am going to do, I want to find out, I want to show my data through the bar chart. I want to prepare the bar chart for it. So, what I can do, I will simply select this, going to insert, then selecting any bar chart. So, this is my bar chart, right, and how it is different from histogram, there is a gap. So, for categorical data or for a discrete data, I can use the bar chart when one column is not, one bar is not attached to the other bar. If I want the values, I just need to click on it, right click and then add labels. So, I will get the value, right, and I can change the color of my graph going there. Want to add the title. So, number of students subject choice of no. Okay, the best exam title may be subject choice of the student. Right. So, this is my title and I can do all sort of calculation with it, right. Now, if I want to convert this graph, bar graph into histogram, then what is required? Either I have the interval data here, group data here, and then frequencies on the x axis, y axis, then histogram is useful. So, I need to insert one additional column of frequency or group range, and then I want to I try to convert this into a histogram for your sake. So, as of now I have done it already, which I have hidden. So, I will get back to unhide column. So, this is my range, right. I do not need it or keep it here for now. So, this is my class interval, class range. So, I can assume that from 0 to 20 is scored by 10 students, 20 to 40 15 students, 40 to 60 22 students, 60 to 80 13 students, and 80 to 100 is 5 students. So, what I can do? I can prepare the bar chart for it. Let us delete this first. So, I will prepare additional bar chart. I will go to this insert bar chart, right. So, this is my bar chart. What I can do? I want to convert it into histogram, quick layout, and this is my histogram. I can add the title, insert, right, and then I will select this quick histogram, right. So, this is my histogram, right. I can add the title, and the title may be marks of the students, right. So, in histogram, each column is connected with each other, each bar is connected with each other without any gap, and I can always add the label back to it. But one thing is missing is like there are no lines to separate each column from other. So, what I can do, I can just go to, I can right click, go to, sorry, I can right click, go to format data series, click on this, borders, solid lines. I can change the color, say I will take the black 4 lines. I can increase the thickness of the lines, and this is your bar chart. If I want to add the title, right, of x axis, then what I can do, I can write what, marks range. So, this is the example of what, histogram, right. I can also go for, if I want to prepare, if I want to get like the percentage marks in each subject. So, which subject is the best choice for the student, and for that I want the subject wise weight. So, which is the suitable measure, I can go for the pie chart. So, I do not want this column, I will hide this column for now. I will go to the format cell, hide and hide column, then I will select this, right, insert, select pie chart, and this is your pie chart, right. And if you want to add the values, add data labels. So, these are the values. So, looking at this pie chart, I can directly come to the conclusion that 22% students choice is management concept, which is the highest chosen subject, and the lowest chosen subject is 5, which is for income tax. ठीक है. So, when you want to get the values in percentage and have a visible value which has the largest share, which subject has the largest share of choice and which subject is least chosen, then this pie chart will help me to give, to draw a quick conclusion. So, I can say percentage share of each subject, right. Pie chart will do. And in case I want to prepare OG from it, then what I have to do? I have to take the cumulative frequency. I have to add one more column. So, what it is? Cumulative frequency, right. How I can do it? So, I will take the title cumulative frequency, right. Just make it little bit more spelling, cumulative frequency, right. So, this is, or this is known as less than curve. I can take I can copy the format from here also, right. I will take the cumulative frequency, less than 10 is 10. This data is suitable when we have the class interval, right. So, I will unhide the class interval, unhide column. So, the cumulative frequency of this is, If I want to find out the cumulative frequency, what I have to do? I just need to add it up, right. So, this the value of this column is like this column plus this column, and you will get the answer, right. And then what I am doing? I am just selecting the column, control down, right. But this is not the answer actually, because less than frequency, each answer should be higher than the earlier one. So, there is something wrong. I need to check the formula. D 3 plus this equals to this plus this answer, and then I am just dragging it, right. So, this is my cumulative frequency. Now, if I want to prepare OG for it, then what I can do? I can just hide this column, format, hide the column, and then I will just select this and go to insert line chart, right, like this. This is my OGIF, and if I want to add the data level, I just need to click on it, right click, add data labels. So, this is the example of OGIF. So, not only not only bar chart, histogram, OGIF or pie chart, we have lot of other options for graphical presentation of the data, which actually make our data more visible and more convenient to understand, and we can take quick decisions about the data. We can take the quick conclusion out of data. So, we can draw n number of graphs out of it, and not only Excel, but there are other softwares also that are helping us. So, returning back to our lecture, this is one way. Returning back to our lecture, let us discuss how graphical representation has its what are the limitations or benefits, merits and demerits of the graphical representation.